Hey up everyone, hope we're all doing well. A lot of MMA fans are currently shitting all over Zhang WEILI versus Valentina Shevchenko. They're dropping their kegs and taking a big fat splattering all over this fight. And you know what? I'm actually here to defend the fight. Because in my opinion, I don't think that this fight deserves any sort of hate at all. And I think a lot of these people shitting on the fight come from fans who, let's be honest, don't really care about the sport that much. And I'd actually deem them as casuals. No, I don't like throwing that word out there that much, but in my opinion, this is a fight between two high-level MMA fighters. Now, I know a lot of people like to say that this fight is shit simply because it's women's MMA, and don't get me wrong, I know like the typical average women's MMA fight, let's be honest, it's not the best of quality, but I feel like that's completely different when it comes to Zhang WEILI and Valentina Shevchenko, two fighters who are known for the highest level of mixed martial arts. And by the way, that's not me saying that the only reason why people hate on this fight is because they hate on women's MMA or anything like that. I'm aware that some people also think that this fight could be very well boring, and don't get me wrong, I think I also agree. I could see how this fight could be boring. Do I think it will be boring? No, I don't, but I can definitely see how it could be boring when it goes down. But in my opinion, when you've been watching not even just MMA, but combat sports in general for so many amounts of years, I feel like you know that not every single fight has to be a banger on paper. Not every single fight is going to fucking blow the house away or anything like that. Sometimes it just has to be a very interesting fight, in my opinion. And I think Zhang versus Shevchenko is definitely an interesting fight. Like, I'll give you another example. Belal Muhammad versus Ian Gary. Now, is that fight going to be a fucking banger, fucking stand and bang? No, it's not. It's more than likely, let's be honest, going to be dog shit and boring to watch. However, it is very, very interesting to see how Belal's going to cope with the movement of Ian Gary, whether Ian Gary can go up against a former champion and go at a good pace against Belal Muhammad. Who knows? I find this very interesting, and I feel like that thing what makes it interesting and intriguing gets me very excited for the fight to actually happen, even though I know that more than likely it's going to be a boring fight. Now, what makes this fight really interesting for me? I mean, for one, it's pretty much a super fight. I know that Zhang's vacated the title, so you can't class it as like champ v champ. But let's be honest, it's champ v champ. Zhang moving up a weight division to take on Valentina Shevchenko. Fans have actually been asking for this matchup for a very long time as well. And it's one of the few, one of two interesting fights you can make in all of women's MMA in the UFC. You got Amanda Nunes and Kayla Harrison. And of course, next week, Shevchenko versus Zhang. But the reason why I find this really interesting is because both of them are super good everywhere. Like, Valentina Shevchenko, she's great on the feet. Zhang, she's also amazing on the feet. Not only that, but they can both grapple. It's not like, oh, they're really good strikers, but the grappling's a bit, so-and-so. No, they both have really good grappling as well. And when you look at both women recently as well, you got Valentina Shevchenko, who obviously took the loss to Alexa Grasso, then drew against her, and then finally avenged her loss at the Sphere, and then just went on to beat Manon Fiorot. And Fiorot just looked really good by getting that first round finish over. I forgot who it was, but that was really, really impressive. And then you've also got Zhang WEILI, who's been looking really impressive ever since she lost a second fight to Thug Rose. You know, she absolutely decimated Carla Esparza. She went on to shut down all of the hype of Tatiana Suarez as well, and put on a banger against Zhang Jianan. So both women have been in good form recently. And then when you go on to look at the betting odds, this is literally split down the middle. It is evens. The bookies don't know how it's going to go. And I feel like a lot of fans are divided as well. Now, me personally, I'm favoring Valentina Shevchenko. I feel like she'll be able to play at range a lot and be able to do really well at range. I think that Zhang will have some moments where she blitzes in, being very powerful. I'm very interested to see how she does at 125 rather than 115. But yeah, I'm very interested in this fight. I think Valentina's gonna get it done, but I can see how Zhang gets it done. And again, that just makes it more interesting. When a fight is hard to predict, it makes it so much more interesting, and that's what we've got on our hands next week. And I also think the placement of what card this is on and where it is on the card is brilliant as well. It's on UFC 322, which is already stacked. We've got so many bangers on that card. I can't even think of them all off the top of my head because there's just so many of them. And of course, as the main event, you know, you'll have this co-main take place between Shevchenko and Zhang. And then you've got an absolute banger in the main event, which is also going to be split down the middle and hard to predict and very high level. And JDM defending against Islam Makhachev, who's also moving up like Zhang is. So yeah, I'm going to stop waffling on about all of this now. I do genuinely believe that this fight is super underrated. I don't think anyone can really change my mind on this fight being underrated, just purely because I've seen so many people shit on it, and it just leaves a bad taste in my mouth. Usually I don't do rants like this, but I just felt like I have to, because I feel like this fight should be getting a lot more love than it's getting. It's not really getting any, it's just getting pure shat on. I'm just not really a fan of that. I understand a lot of matchups for shitting on them, but I don't feel like this is one of those matchups you should be shitting on, in my opinion. But what do you guys make of this? What do you think of the matchup? Who are you predicting to win the fight, and how do you think they win the fight? Let me know in the comments. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.